Pickacard, what makes you hypnotic? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Here's your pile selection. Hi, Pile 1. My name is Griselle with Tough Doll Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, what makes you hypnotic? I have pre-drawn the cards. I have not looked at them as of yet, but let us channel the energy that comes through the image that you chose. I'll place that right here. Pile number 1. With this image, I'm looking at her cyberpunk aviator. And as you can see right here, that one eye appears to cut through the BS and get right to the point. I feel like you're somebody who's incredibly astute, very observant. And with the other eye, I feel like you're incredibly aware of your surroundings. If you look, you can almost see like the buildings or basically her surroundings in a 3D world. So you could be somebody who goes to a restaurant and immediately looks for an exit, an escape route. What are the conditions? Do I sit with my back facing all doors? Where is the kitchen where all the food comes to and from? Because usually there's an exit through the kitchen because they have deliveries and such that get delivered towards the back usually. So your mind can operate on a completely different level. And this, my friend, is completely hypnotic. You could also be aware of things that other people never notice. You could have a photographic memory. And pile number 1, if you do, I gotta say I'm incredibly jealous, okay? You could have great skin. You could have a great skin routine, great skincare routine, right? It appears that you're perhaps even looking a lot younger than what your actual age is. Your skin can be very soft and supple. I feel, pile number 1, that you have a great fashion sense, but that your fashion sense is also airy, maybe monochromatic in color or dainty in expression. Pile number 1, let's take a look at what else makes you hypnotic. Epoch. Pause in your journey. Pile number 1, you could have sustained a lot of wounds and you could have been broken open by society, by family, by love, all the things, right? Life's experiences perhaps have gotten you down a time or two. People could look at you and be completely mesmerized because they could almost see your wounds talking sometimes. And I mean that in the kindest way. Pile number 1, I feel like when you speak from the heart. I also feel like you speak from experience. I feel like you have been through much. I'm hearing World War III. But I feel like that's not the only war that you have been through. I also feel like there are some beings right here sitting on top of books. So I feel like you could be very knowledgeable and very poised, because this figure right here appears to be very poised. Let's see what else we have. This is a new deck, so I'm not entirely familiar with it. Okay, with a vertebrae. And we also have the Raven. Yeah, so I feel like perhaps you're somebody who has built yourself from the street up, from the ground up, from the floor up, all the way to the top of your head. You could be somebody who once upon a time was known to have like maybe a nervous breakdown or a quote mental breakdown, anything like that. And pile number 1, let me say that this is incredibly hypnotic because it resurrected you, the new you, the parts that you have salvaged and built upon and improved upon and grown with are incredibly beautiful to look at. And I know that for a fact because with this Raven card right here, you have the ability to be in tune with animal spirits, specifically birds. And I feel like this could be very hypnotic. I feel like your energy even can draw birds to you. But you could be in touch with things that actually form a spine. And what I mean by that is you can see into people and what they're made out of and what they're built out of very quickly. And you can understand very easily if they are definitely from this 3D low vibrational world, or if they have components of otherworldly things that really lend humanity towards hope and towards abolishing things that are a facade, like different paradigms that don't belong in our brains any longer, pre-programming, things like that. I want to read to you what else I channeled on this image, okay? So you could have that photographic memory we talked about. Oh, I did read it. It's funny. Okay, but you could wear golds and cream colors and brown tones and earth tones and things like that. And I feel like if you did wear any jewelry, it's not going to be like this, God forbid, gaudy, right? I know. But I feel like your jewelry would be more of the dainty, very thin, maybe gold, if at all, with a tiny little emblem that meant something to you. Super classy is what I'm feeling, okay? What? Pile number 1, are you the High Priestess? Do you keep the secrets of the cosmos as well as your fellow human being? I feel like you are definitely the person, she who knows, he who knows. On this channel, we read energy, not sex. But intuitively, I feel like you have this ability to break other people open in a very gentle way as well. With that one eye that sees right through them, right into the soul. I feel like you don't push your beliefs on other people, but by the same token, you gently make them aware that you know what is true and what is delulu. Pile number 1, if you're liking this kind of reading, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, this is my second channel. Please help me grow. That would be awesome. My other channel is called PsychicMD, and I will provide a link below. Pile number 1. You're hypnotic because you get to the point. Sometimes you could be a little bit rash, brash. I don't get that energy a lot, but you're the quintessential unicorn. On this card, I haven't used these cards very much, but on this card, this horse has a unicorn horn on it. And with the white horse, I feel like you could be perceived as a knight in shining armor, the person that rescues, the person that wants to rush in and talk about the truth and all of these red flags. I gotta say, leaning on the horse's mouth, sometimes people could be a little bit alarmed. They could be alarmed with things that you say, at your perception, and also by your motive. But I feel like given a little bit of time, not a great time at all, but if people pause to consider you, and this is what makes you hypnotic, they realize that you speak with a lot of wisdom and a lot of truth, and from a place of centeredness, not wobbly, wishy-washy all over the place, and definitely not knee-jerk reaction the way people initially could feel like you speak. This horse, to me, is all about the knight in shining armor, yes, but this horse a lot of times represent freedom. And I feel like you're here to illuminate freedom to people and to cut through the BS that really is holding them back. And initially, again, you could meet great resistance because new ideas and things that challenge the status quo could be quite shocking. Pile number 1, what makes you hypnotic besides all that we already discussed? I feel like you have the ability to disassemble each vertebrae one by one in people's lives and be able to help them to see how that no longer serves them. How those are things that perhaps have been feeding their delusions, or maybe lifestyle dreams that are not really attainable the way that their budget is currently. Something about you brings people down to logic and reason, but then you build them back up in order to help them be the best version of themselves. And I feel like you have vast experience in this. You are a light worker, a light bearer, and a truth speaker. Pile number 1. Yeah, you could bring people back into a Four of Wands energy. Now, the interesting part about this, if you notice, it's a twofold kind of a card. This is about, oh yeah, we have the Four of Wands, we have stability, and we're building a home, and everything's going great. And it's beautiful, and it very well may be. But I feel like what's hypnotic about you is that people have been able to see how you have literally built from nothing. Perhaps you found an abandoned building. Perhaps when you took off your meat suit and you looked at really what was beneath and behind everything, and realize that you are a soul in human form having an experience. I feel like you really built everything up from the roots all the way on up. And I'm looking at all these birds, right? In here, and it appears a little bit like tattered. I feel like you could help people to see how much in ruins their dream and their stability is once again. I feel like it's kind of repeating the same thing over again. And the fact that you point out how really from rubble you can create great things if you have the correct perspective. But it might be a little bit painful to look at the rubble initially because people want to see a situated place, everything in its place, in every place in its thing. That made no sense, but you get the point. People want to see the vegetation growing, the paint on the walls. They want to see everything in order, okay? They want to see the blooms and the fruit already producing. But what they fail to see is that there's more inner work that they need to do in order to achieve those things. And I feel like that's why you're here. And that's what makes you hypnotic, is that you have that ability to strip things down to the bare bones in order to reveal what is really underneath, but also thinking about how you have that one eye into this 3D world. I feel like you have the ability to navigate people and help them to be able to travel this in a very different manner. And actually the movie that is coming to me very much is like Terminator, and the sequel and the prequel and all those things. Now, believe it or not, I'm not a huge sci-fi buff, but it seems like I seem to be going a little bit more that route these days. So you could take a lot of messages from things like The Matrix and Terminator. You could have been a lifelong fan of that. And I feel like applying those things metaphorically into your life will help you to see things with a different flavor, if you will. What makes you hypnotic? Pile number 1. If you're liking this kind of reading, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think and what the next reading should be about if you feel led. That's my puppy dog. So, Leech, we have clout chaser seeks fame after on self-interest, poser, fawning to get one way, and sucking up. Now, I know the words, but more what I'm feeling right here is the energy of vibrancy. Like wherever you go, money follows. It appears that there are huge explosions behind you. And I feel like you could really kind of blow up other people's matrix, even without meaning to. And that's really quite hypnotic. In fact, I feel like this is a nod to the tower energy. And just to be perfectly honest, I feel like I sense tower energy in all of the piles. But in this one especially, I'm feeling like this tower energy, you come to kind of demolish established orders already. And that the currency also, you're somebody who reveals that the currency isn't simply monetary, isn't simply the haves and have-nots. It is your self-worth. It is what you can lend to another human being. It is a helping hand. It is rising up and helping people to see things as it really is. And currency is only an agreement that we've made with each other, that this is what this piece of paper is worth, and this is how much you need in order to accept this, I don't know, this object, this thing, even this home. And I feel like you have come to really lend a unique perspective, but I feel like this is really exposing things. Things on Wall Street, the way networking goes, the way even Martha Stewart was in prison or went to jail and had an ankle bracelet out because she had some tips regarding her trading and all that. Anyways, I feel like you could really expose the greed in corporate America and how things are set up in order to help people fail actually to keep the monster going. And I'm also being led to straw man. If you don't know about that, then that's a whole deep dive, and I don't have time to go into it. But I feel like you could be someone who is really discovering things like straw man, or bringing that into the 5D in order to help people understand and see what it is that is beneficial and what it is that we are holding ourselves prisoners to. And that's what I am feeling. And that's why you're hypnotic. I think that you're pretty radical, in fact. What? Yes. So giving up, resigning, new path, throwing in the towel, and quitting. I feel like this could be an entire movement. You know, that silent quitting type thing that we've been talking about on the internet. I feel like this is one step even deeper than that. I feel like you are saying, you know, no longer am I chained to these ideas that I need to adhere to or uphold, that no longer am I holding other people's dreams because they say it's the American dream or Scandinavian dream. I don't know what your dreams are, pile number one, but I do feel like you're helping to really abolish existing things in people's minds. And I definitely believe also that you have taken a deep dive with predictive programming. Take a look at our television. They're all programs, you know. If you look at even the YouTube algorithm, they're all channels, right? And if you look at, you know, during the week, they're called weekdays, which means that you're in a weekend state, correct? Now, when you look at the weekend, I mean, that has an entirely different meaning. So I think that with the number 1555 in the camera right now, you are helping to really see for yourself how things are incredibly different, how words are powerful, and maybe perhaps you're choosing different words entirely in order to really help you elevate, gain clarity, and really detoxify yourself from the matrix. No other way to say it. And I feel like this makes you really hypnotic, because in a lot of ways, you could not necessarily be announcing it like this person is appearing to announce it. But I feel like you, by your simple lifestyle and by the level of freedom that you've attained and achieved thus far, you really serve to inspire others. Pile number one, that's what I have for you. Hope that you like this. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, Pal 2. My name is Griselle with Tough Doll Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. What makes you hypnotic? Now, I decided to utilize these cute little butterflies that I mentioned, pile number one. But these butterflies are actually my version of YouTube clothing, because I did notice that some ladies in my decks were not YouTube approved attired correctly, right? So I decided to take matters into my own hands, and then I thought, why the heck not wear them? Because, you know, it's fun. So here we are. Pile number two. I'm going to go ahead and read to you my channel messages first. I have to be somebody that's super organized this way. Otherwise, I will read intuitively and miss a bunch of stuff. So here we go. What makes you hypnotic? I'm going to place the image right over here, and this is what you chose. You could be hard to read. You could be very connected to the 5D. You could be consumed with escaping the matrix and having gone through different cycles of imprisonment, such as having realizations and processing and seeking freedom and release. Some examples of this could be toxic relationships, jail, old establishments, old order, trafficking, prison earth ideas, and things like that. You could be a lean, mean fighting machine, highly underrated. Your vision is comprehensible to those in low frequency. Pile number two, you're definitely fierce. I love this image. And the fact that her glasses have everything that we're talking about right now, like escape, I feel like that is you in a nutshell. And because the eyes are the windows of the soul, that's what we say often. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Pile number two, I feel like your eyes are definitely windows to the soul. I feel like people can get lost in them. I'm feeling kind of like a hazel, warm, brownish color, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I do feel like people rivet on your eyes. There's something about your eyes that people can see, that you see something that other people are unable to see themselves, or maybe perhaps even unwilling. Wow. Embrace oneness with the universe. Merrick. Look at this image. Let's get it close for you to enjoy. And look at how beautiful this is. So I feel like you're getting down to your ground roots, your grass roots. I feel like you're someone who could be into earthing, into grounding, into energy, high vibration. Something about your feet. Pile number 2, what could be hypnotic about you is the way you walk, your stride, your gait, your feet themselves. Maybe they're very beautiful. Maybe the arch is beautiful. Maybe your toes. Maybe people that have a foot fetish tend to look at your feet quite a bit. What makes you hypnotic? Pile number 2, an acorn. Now these are new cards to me, or at least I haven't used them very often. So let's see if we can get this going here. And the bear claw. Yeah, I feel like you are someone who really could talk about sustainable living, about living within your means as well, but also about bartering, about a new way of doing things, about taking matters into your own hands. And if you don't like the ingredients, and we're going to grow them ourselves. I feel like you are someone who wants to escape any establishment, including grocery stores, in as much as you can. Perhaps you're someone who wants to work with local butchers and things like that in order for you to have the freshest available produce and meats, like farmers markets, as long as you know that they are grown locally. That could be something that really inspires you, because you realize that in order to have a great working lean fighting machine, like this image right here, and it doesn't have to be lean, I'm just saying that, and metaphorically, right? We appreciate all body shapes and sizes, but I feel like you are starting to realize that food is a great healer. It is medicinal. It is a great conductor of energy as well. And you need to put the best in your body in order to receive the best output. Now with the bear claw right here, knock yourself thinking bear claws. I love those. No. Okay, but bear claw right here, I feel like you could be very, very fierce. Like you could be a mama bear, papa bear. You could be someone who will fight to the end. You could be a little bit on the tall side, or maybe just a bigger person overall, but you could be extremely fierce. Once upon a time, I worked with someone who said, well, Griselle, question mark, I would not want to encounter her in an alley. It's like, what does that mean? But you could be fierce like that and not even know it. Like intimidating, I guess, would be the word for it. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic? How fierce you protect other people. How fierce people have come up against you as well. Okay, these images are intense. So I haven't worked with this deck either in quite some time. And there is a, up and down, right side up, whatnot. But if you look at this one, this person with the 7 of Wands is a person defending themselves. And I feel like what's hypnotic about you is that you don't feel the need to defend yourself, but you will jump in the arena to defend anyone. Somebody who cannot defend themselves, somebody who is a friend. I heard even a foe. Now here's what's different about you and hypnotic. Pile number 2, I feel like you will stand up for the underdog, even if this person has done you wrong, even if this person is someone that is an enemy or a frenemy. I feel like you read energy and you're committed to something more than what we can see in the 3D. When people are petty and they think, well, I dislike pile number 2, and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about, because they're going on image, or they feel threatened, or they feel intimidated by your energy. I feel like you have the ability to go 5 steps beyond, because you're looking at a soul, and you will protect even that person that has come against you, maybe even to your own demise. Now, I've been that person as well, and I feel you, because in the end, we're definitely interwoven. I feel like you're starting to realize, or have realized for a long time already, that we are part of the same like we're in the end, we're all one. That was really hard for me to say. You're welcome. So pile number 2, I feel like something about your family tree. I feel like maybe you're even putting your family tree on its side. You are looking at the roots, you're looking at what the bark is composed of, and any generational curses and any things like that, you are done with them. You are escaping that. And this is part of you. That's why you have the glasses that say escape right over there, right? I feel like you have worked hard. You have worked until the point where even your own family and things like that have come against you. But what they don't really understand is that you're helping to create a new paradigm for them, a new shift. You're helping elevate them into a 5D, into a place where they don't have to be subjected to poor treatment, to bad conditions, to essential slavery on a planet, right? I feel like you are opening up new ideas and you are freeing your family lineage, and that's incredibly beautiful. But it's also very difficult to navigate and maneuver. Pile number 2, you could be viewed as the person who's toxic, but you have a lot of complexities to you. I feel like you are someone who is viewed upon one way just by your aesthetics, right? You could be like tough and rough and tumble, that kind of a thing. And I'm looking at the tattoo on her shoulder. You could be like sleeved out. You could love ink. You could love piercings, alternative looks, and things like that. Lord knows that I love all of those things. But I'm going to say that all of those things don't really portray the whole story. I feel like that is an outer example of an inner dialogue that's been going on for a long time. And what people don't understand is that there is a great picture to this. And currently you are not focused on like what happened to me or this or that. You're focused on bigger pictures. And this is a real chore. I feel like you've been toiling for a long time and you've been doing this on your own, and people don't really understand. And that's what makes you hypnotic, is that people see you fighting and freeing not only yourself, because they can think, well, what are you fighting so hard about? You're already free. What they don't understand is that you're trying to free other people. You're trying to be here for other reasons than simply yourself. It's not just about you, pile number 2. And I feel like you know this very, very well. Oh, look at that. I'm looking at antlers in the woods, in the wild. They are so cute. So I have the privilege to be able to look through a window and really observe Mother Nature at her finest and see the does and the bucks and all the things of the land come through. And it's such a privilege. And I feel in the same way that I'm being able to observe that, I feel like you observe humanity in a lot of ways, just like does, like I would say innocent, even though they can fight during rutting season and do all these things. I feel like you look at humanity with a lot of compassion, and that's part of your mission that makes you incredibly hypnotic. Also, the way that you have an ability to look at escape routes or what is escaping the Matrix, and literally the Matrix movie could be coming through again, and you can have a tie to pile number 3, by the way, because the cards all slid on top of pile number 3. I had to separate them once again, but here we go. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic? Your ability to dance, make moves, your ability to shift, pivot, and juggle different things. I feel like a lot of energy of as above, so below, that kind of a thing, bringing and manifesting what it is that you need, all the tools. And I'm going to say that pile number 2, I know this is about what makes you hypnotic, but one thing that I want to share with you is that when I'm getting channeled information for you is from the other side, for you to ask for help from them, because they really are on standby in order to assist you. And if you don't request that help, it will not be forthcoming and things will be a lot tougher for you. Who needs that, right? Pile number 2, I feel like what makes you hypnotic is your ability to really juggle 2 different things. It could be 2 jobs, a work and a job, that are really both demanding, but you do it with such grace. And I also feel like you're incredibly grounded while you do it. I don't feel this energy of like, ooh, I'm lofty and I want to have this and I want to separate myself and I want to make a name for myself. And it could be those things, but I feel like it's even more than that. I feel like the imprint that you came here on earth to make is of a soul level imprint. It is not one of, let me open up a textbook and see you there. Let me look at the internet, which by the way is bought out anyways. And it's controlled by somebody, right? Somebody has to make those decisions. So it's not about being on the internet and saying this person was so famous and they were so graceful and they juggled things. No, you are about what grounds people. And I feel like you are completely focused on you. But people have incredible misconceptions, which are, by the way, fading. I feel like you could have had people that are pushing against you for a long, long time. And now I feel like this little caricature right here is actually digging their way towards you. They realize that their world is inverted and that you have some of the answers, perhaps not all of them. And pile number 2, I feel like you're hypnotic because you don't pretend to have all the answers. I just feel like you are a humanitarian and you on a soul level are a healer. And if you don't know it yet, I feel like you're going to know it soon. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic? The world. My first thought is, I don't know if this is like YouTube safe, but my first thought is, you know, her little crack right here. Pardon me. This is what these are for, by the way, originally, before I got this bright idea that I could wear and do whatever I want with however I want, because I can. But with this right here, I thought, you know, you've closed out a lot of chapters. People can be hypnotized about you because it's almost like an energy. If you can kiss my ASS, right? I'm trying to be like cleaner on this channel a little bit, but I'm going to say that that is not even it. I feel like you are just opening up to the cosmos, elevating. I feel like your energy is elevated with her clothes. She's not even wearing a stitch, friends. Okay. I feel like you come, it's almost like being born again, revamping yourself, regrowing something that you never thought you would enter into. And with that, you're facing something that is uncanny, something totally different. You could even start seeing things that you've never seen before. You could also, I feel like tasting, you're going to start tasting things that you've never, and these are like messages and signs and things from the other side as well. And that makes you incredibly hypnotic. But also I feel like right here, some part of you has already escaped a matrix. And keep in mind, at least the way I see it, is a matrix could be a lot of different things. It could be layers. It is very much similar to healing, which I would equate to like an onion. You realize that those things no longer serve you. They were never meant to serve you anyways, and that you're moving on to something that lets you be you in the clear and lets you see things for what it really is and not simply an illusion. One illusion would be like credit card system. Credit cards are made in order for them to gain money, right? It's all a big machine. And with the markups, you know, 25%, 29%, and depending on your credit score, all these things are really designed so that they can keep you in a system of slavery. But that's another, anyways, we're going to keep it moving. I'm going to say that you've really escaped some major holding cell, okay? Some major paradigm shift has happened for you, or you have really enabled that through clean eating, through channeling, through meditation, through grounding, or simply through just looking at life and going deep within with hermit energy. And I feel like that's not even it for you any longer. What makes you hypnotic is how open you are, how vulnerable, how you say, hey, I don't have all the answers, but I definitely know that this ain't it and that ain't it and this is BS. And I feel like you're really transparent with that. Your level of transparency lends itself to relatability. And I want to just commend you on that because it's very difficult to be transparent in this 3D dense vibrational world. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic? If you're liking this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. This is my second channel. My first is called PsychicMD, and I have over 700 videos there for your viewing pleasure. What makes you hypnotic is the way you speak. Maybe perhaps you're drawn to dark aesthetics. Maybe you love art that's a little bit on the dark side, edgier side. I love art like that, if you can't tell by the way. So it says emotional drama queen, fakes for attention, makes a big deal out of nothing. But more than anything, we're looking at the imagery. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic? I feel could be your lips, could be your face, could be your mouth. But most of all, I feel like what it is that you're speaking upon, what it is that you teach upon, what it is that you speak out about. All of these things make you incredibly hypnotic because they're unconventional, they are different, and yet they really hit. I would say your words really hit people on an intuitive level. They're like, oh my gosh, they feel it in their gut. It's very, very powerful. Pile number 2, what makes you hypnotic is you are a great strategist. I feel like you could be very colorful. People are drawn to you. They're magnetized. And people can think, well, this person, they strategize everything and everything works out for them. Let's gain a closer view of you, because I'm a dork that way. Pile number 2, Napoleon outlook, planning, bigger picture mentality. I do feel like you have the bigger picture. And I feel like you have been demonized in quite a few ways, but I feel like you've achieved a level of success, a level of growth. You have broken generational curses that are simply now starting to reveal themselves and to the world. So it's going to be really powerful that people are starting to really recognize what you have done, what you're doing, and what you're really about. I feel like for the first time, maybe ever, people are going to start to see you for who you really are. I also feel that you've been on the battlefield. You've been fighting for many lifetimes for this cause. I feel like your voice is a voice in a very silent night. And I don't mean that in a Christmassy way. I feel like there have been a lot of flags around you. A lot of like crying uncle, a lot of white flags. Like I give up, things like that, and I can't do it. But I also feel like this gives me the Fool energy, where he packs up his stuff in a little sack with a pole, right? And he just kind of marches on, and he's, you know, free to make decisions and do the things. And right here, I have a fish with a mouth open. I feel like this is abundance. The more that you speak, the more abundance you become. And do be protecting yourself. Pile number 2, because you do have other, I'm going to say other entities, but basically anything can be an entity. I mean, if you look at society, you know, and where we have portals where you go onto the portal, right? Or you fill in this entity in order to achieve, I don't know, logging into a system or whatever. It could be work. It could be like other, you know, recreational uses. It doesn't make a difference. But anything is an entity. And I feel like you do have a lot of opponents that are watching. And I feel like they could be angry. So you just want to really protect yourself. And that's what makes you hypnotic, is even people that oppose you, that want to call you crazy, want to call BS, they can't deny the truth of your words. Much love to you, much protection, and much encouragement to you on your journey. Until we meet again, namaste. Hi, pal number 3. My name is Griselle with Tough Doll Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pal number 3, I'm going to get a little bit of sagey sage just to cleanse this area because we can. You chose this image, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the page so that I can read to you my channel messages. What makes you hypnotic? Pile number 3. What makes you hypnotic based on this image? You are the game changer. Your direct eye contact pins people's backs to the wall while you, in turn, scrutinize their soul. You're very observant. You're incredibly analytical. You make fast and accurate assessments and then draw conclusions with accuracy, with precision. You could be clairaudient, telepathic. You could be fighting a system or an assimilation. And you've been fighting for a long time. I'm talking through lifetimes. You could be into interdimensional things, 5D. You could be ascending and asking your fellow humankind, mankind, to really ascend with you as well. I feel like you have been someone that okay, I know this is controversial, but why stop now? I feel like even other entities follow you to stop the work that you've been doing, okay? Causing perhaps you to doubt or to flounder or to fall. You could have a lot of opponents at different points in your life that really, for all intents and purposes, just want to see your downfall. But really, it's to stop your great mission. And what they don't understand is that your downfall is theirs as well. Pile number 3, what do we have for thee? What makes you hypnotic? I'm going to get this in closer. So the number 23 could be important to you. Panacea. Don't know if I pronounced it correct. There's a solution for every problem. I feel like, yeah, I mean, this is a loosely tied knot right here, but it seems like this person is submerged. And what makes you hypnotic is that regardless of the tight spaces that you've been in life, the places that seem to want to tether you, to knot you up, to ground you, to hold you, to keep you from moving to any other place, I feel like you've been able to unlock, unleash, untie yourself. You've been able to identify that which is holding you back, and that makes you incredibly hypnotic, because it's a soft hold back. It's not like, oh, you're in chains and you know for a fact that you're being held back. I feel like you're seeing through a lot of facades, including your own. I feel like you call BS on yourself often. And pile number 3, I feel like you're definitely my people, because I do the same thing. I feel like you could even see when your own excuses get in the way and prevent you from moving forward, and you are done with that. You might contemplate it for a little bit, but what makes you hypnotic is that you're going to untie this and you're going to unwrap whatever it is around your feet so that you can make moves, so that you can make progress, because you have a vision, okay? Pile number 3, these aviator glasses are incredibly beautiful with the green. I feel like you're all about, like, again, the Matrix keeps coming up in all 3 readings, actually. But I feel like you could be into technology. You could be well-versed or willing to explore things as far as technicality goes. You could be a website creator, the IT person for your company. You could be the person that people go to when they get in trouble. I would not be that person, by the way. I am the trouble. Pile number 3, you could be the person that is incredibly analytical, very astute. You could be very much like the King of Swords energy, where you can cut through any problem and see the solution and go from there. I feel like a lot of times you could be mistaken for someone who is unemotional, and that cannot be further from the truth. With the glasses that are glowing neon, this image gives me a feeling that you want to see people grow, that you want to see the best way possible for them, and that you have a vision for people as well. Pile number 3, what makes you hypnotic? Doll's head. So I pulled these out earlier. I haven't looked at them, but that's really funny. So let's see what the other one is, simply because. In heart, okay. Doll's head and heart. Head and heart, huh? And these are falling all over. So I feel like what this is saying is that you are hypnotic because you might appear, you know, back in the old days, they used to call females dolls. Now it would be considered an insult, probably. But even a doll's head, when you think about it, and she looks a little bit pissed off and kind of, you know, up there in age. Could be that maybe you're a little bit more mature, you're on the older side. Maybe you might have white hair. You might really like to have your makeup all together or your aesthetics together. You could be a heartbreaker or really speak from your heart. But what makes you hypnotic is your ability to judge accurately. The way that that has helped you be balanced and stable, the way that that has helped you to put an end to things that do not serve, that are coming for you, things that have ended. I feel like you yourself have taken the, is it the scythe? I always forget how to pronounce that correctly. But I feel like you are the one to take this tool and really essentially weed whack your life. In order for there to be more clarity, you can see what's underneath, what needs to grow, what needs to be pruned, and what needs to be tended to in the form of like trails and things like that, or flower beds, whatever your thing is. But I feel like you have the astute knowledge and wisdom to be able to see what no longer belongs in your life, what is a hindrance, and to get rid of it. That makes you hypnotic is the way that you move in life, the way that you have been able to apply the things that you learn, the things that you see. And I feel like you're seeing these in a very clairvoyant way. energetic way. I feel like you have the ability to read and see people's energies. I would not be surprised if you could see people's auras as well. That could be something. Also, I feel like you could have some Gemini in you as well. The ability to really, like, I don't want to say be two different people, but you could be extremely warm and yet still cut off things that just do not serve you. And it is all for a reason. The Page of Pentacles, yeah. What makes you hypnotic is what you invest in, is the things that you put your money in. It makes people maybe a little bit perplexed. I feel like they can have a window into your soul if they were to kind of look a little bit more along those lines. I feel like you could be misunderstood. You could be seen as like angry and approachable, but I don't feel like that's true. I feel like you're very careful with who comes towards you. And I also feel like you're not going to invest any time, energy, and effort or money in situations that are not going to help growth, are not going to be conducive to your energy. If it's a low frequency energy, you're going to bite it right out. You're like, bye boy, that is not something that we are here for. You have built for a long time and you are building something that's going to grow and flourish. You could live around trees, love greenery, love things that are thriving and growing. And that could be something that could be a focus or an obsession. You could be a plant mom, plant dad, that kind of a thing. But what makes you hypnotic is that people don't really understand why you cut things off and why other things move along. And that, I feel like, is becoming clear. There could be a lot of emotion attached to you and attached to this. People could be very attached to you in a lot of different ways and not understand. They could be wading through mud. They could have brain fog I'm getting right now. They could have glasses that don't allow them to see clearly. And now I'm seeing in my mind's eye, there was a movie a long time ago where you could put on glasses and actually see the demons that exist in real life. And you could see, if you look at something, you could see that people are eating literal garbage. You could see signs that say one thing, but when you put the glasses on, it says obey, 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 and things like that. So I feel like you have the ability to see through all of those things. And what people don't realize is that it is your great mission to be able to help other people see those things as well. Seeing beyond the facade into other paradigms, seeing your higher purpose. And people are a little bit shook by that you are no longer really desiring things that 99.9% of people on this earth desire, or what they're looking at. You're looking at something entirely different. And what makes you hypnotic, Page of Wands, is your I'm going to say your fire, okay? And how perhaps, because this is a fiery part, okay? But maybe they have seen that your fire has been doused, or it's been subdued, or it's been delayed, or simply not there for some time. And what makes you hypnotic is that you have really controlled what it is that you desire out of life. Let's say that once upon a time you really loved luxury handbags, and now all of a sudden you have scaled way back, sold them all, gotten rid of them. Or you are somebody who's exposing like the slave trade or the psychology behind making high luxury market sales, such as, you know, being rude to the clientele in order to get them to feel bad for not making purchases from you and things like that. It's a real thing in high luxury items, and just having the salespeople look at you like, well, can you even afford this? And what are you all about? That kind of a thing. But it is a psychology, and there's a lot of training involved to get people to do what it is ultimately that it is within the company's best interest. And I feel like you have you've lost a desire for it, and you've taken away that energy that is really wanting to keep up with the Joneses, wanting to keep you even in a little box so that you can look or even remotely resemble other people. What makes you hypnotic is that you are focused on what is no longer serving again. You're looking at this going, yep, that doesn't work. I'm going to cut it off right here. I'm going to flip it around and see what can really grow and what beauty can be self-sustained. You could be into like homesteading or really networking within your community to support your community, and really forming things that are going to have a long-lasting effect on your life and on the life of your children, and so on and so forth. I feel like you think generationally, you think with concepts that are a lot bigger than other people are thinking, especially nowadays. What would that, I'm sorry, I'm seeing a number, a Roman numeral number in the forest is being revealed to me. Number one, I'm not great at those, but number two, it's upside down, so I gotta flip it. It is, okay, it is a 4. It is reversed. So I feel like, again, what you're revealing to people is that this world is reversed, that what is stable and what is firm, let me just keep it real simple. When you purchase a house, it's not really an asset. You're going to owe all this money. And even if you pay it off, it's something that you're going to continue, putting money towards for its upkeep and maintenance and things like that. But when you purchase a house, for 90% of people out there, you have these like mortgage payments, and these mortgage payments, can accrue over 15, 30 years, depending on what you're signing up for. And, the banks count on a system that eventually something's going to happen. You'll probably lose your job, or not probably, but, somebody can have the inability, maybe you'll get an injury. I mean, something's going to happen, and they're counting on you losing the ability to be able to make that payment in order for them to actually own it. So in the end, repossessed cars, foreclosures, and things like that, those are borrowed items that you borrowed and paid a hefty chunk of money for in order to return it back to the bank. So it's not really yours. Even the car I drive isn't even mine. It's just a loaner until it's paid off. And then we'll see, right? We'll see with any repairs and things how sustainable that is. All things, I feel like you're viewing things like that, and you reveal that, and that makes you hypnotic because it's a completely different concept than other people. But I also feel like this is taking root. I feel like you're busy planting, uprooting things that don't belong, and it is taking root. Okay, what makes you hypnotic? Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. Slow game, slow and steady, focused on the grand prize. Not in a rush, dedicated energy. What it is that you are giving to currently as far as your energy, your mission, your focus, what you are riveted on with this turtle, I feel like it is ancient knowledge that has been given to you and handed down to you by your ancestors, by simply the act of waking up in the matrix. And perhaps you're looking around going, I can't relate to anybody. Pile number 3, I feel that as well. Pile number 3, you could be healers, you could be visionaries, you could be trendsetters, you could be entrepreneurs. But I feel like you have a thick skin. You have the ability to do what it is that needs to be done in a world where people are simply just surviving to entertain themselves. Okay. Looking at all this graffiti back here, I feel like what makes you hypnotic is that you have the ability to read the signs, whereas other people see color and they see performances and performance art that's all over your For You page and media and movies and all of that. It's just a great performance. One other example, you'll probably totally hate me, and I'm sorry for this, but the Bridgerton, is that how you pronounce it? I did like watching that series, but in the end, the sensing the chemistry with Colin and Penelope, and people are like, this is real, and they're totally real, and it's not a publicity stunt. And I'm like, talk to me in like a year from now when they have a new season coming out, or this is Water in the Bridge 5 years from now. Are they still having chemistry? I don't see it. I see a great performance. And I feel like you are someone who can see beyond that. And the fact that we get so obsessed with other people's relationships and things like that, it's only really the purpose is because we want to believe in something that can inspire us, maybe something that we would wish for ourselves. Keep in mind that our hope and our dreams are directly tied to what we consume via media or mixed media, whatever your thing is. At least for a lot of it. So even if you tend to watch documentaries, docuseries on, murders and things like that, if you have an analytical mind, it's definitely somewhere in there, a hope and a dream that you can like solve this. You could be the solver, the detective, but it's all angled in order to engage that side of us, to preoccupy us as well. But what's hypnotic about you is that you do play the slow game, that you get riveted and you work meticulously in order to attain that which you desire. You set your focus, you hit everything, all settings are locked, loaded, and you go for it. And it's very beautiful, actually. And this actually fell off of one of my nails because these are my YouTube clothing that I've only had to use during this reading once. They're stickers so I can hide people's inappropriate clothing according to YouTube definition. And I have no idea what this card is. Isolation. Is that not my card? I don't know what card would be. Okay, isolation, remote and alone, deserted, feeling rejected, intense sadness, and yet come closer. Pile number 3, what I see here, what makes you hypnotic is that you really enjoy and revel in your isolation. My time for myself is very precious. As you can see, I put a lot of work into my videos. I have a lot of different projects going on. I do have clients as well. And in between all that, I want to spend time with my senior puppy and also watching videos or whatnot, or spending some time with friends as time allows, right? But isolation. So what makes you hypnotic is how you handle isolation, how you can grow and thrive, how you can sit within it and really make something out of nothing that's incredibly beautiful, how perhaps you are an introvert and you really refresh and rejuvenate by your isolation. What is a prison to other people is actually a form of rejuvenation for you. I feel like that is you, just all colorful on the inside. You can live a very colorful world within your mind and at your perspective, and people are just kind of astounded by that. They're blown away by that. Yeah, even these colors all of a sudden pop. Can you see this? Let us look and bring it closer. So when I started talking about the colors and how you have different colors in your life, you view things incredibly different, all of a sudden these colors started to pop. You could be somebody who collects crystals. You could, this is lodolite, the garden quartz, whatever you want to call it. It has a few different names, as most specimens do. I mean, this is an incredible world, and I feel like you could see into the other world. Here's a wish. So I feel like you could even see into people, like what their wish is, and that's incredibly alluring. You can see into what people actually really desire, and that could be very intimidating, alluring, attractive all at once. I'm looking at a good horseshoe, right here, a good horseshoe. A horseshoe, very much in the back. I don't know if that translates right there. And you could be somebody who appears to be like a good luck charm to other people, or they could be charmed by you. People want to know also what's alluring and hypnotic is the fact that you have a self-contained energy. People want to kind of crack in and see into your world. So you could have a lot of people that want to claim your time, be a little bit invasive, be a little bit inquisitive, be a little bit nosy, whatever it is that you want to call it. People could ask you a lot of questions, and I feel that you have a clear view of all this. But also this is making me feel like a wish sphere, right? Where it has the dandelion in full bloom, and it's just like gorgeous. Oh, look at that. There's an actual couple here. How cute. And there's the heart. So maybe you have people that love you, people that are romantically interested. Can you see this heart? This is a heart, folks. I know you could see it. And here's a person. Here's another person. And there is, I don't know, like different things back here that you can look at. But I feel like people are what makes you hypnotic is that people fall in love with you. They can fall in love with you easily, but they don't really necessarily know how to get to you. Not in a nefarious way, but they don't know how to connect with you. And they could see you have a lot of depth, a lot of clarity, and that clarity can be quite intimidating as well, because when you are clear on something, this even appears to be like a male proposing a female, or somebody on their knees kind of asking for forgiveness, that kind of a thing. So you could have a lot of people coming back from the past on you. And now right here, if you look, pile number 3, sorry, I meant not to make these readings last so long, but I'm looking at an eyeball, and there is this, like somebody's looking at you and trying not to be seen by the same token. So what makes you hypnotic, I feel like, is because you could peer into people's souls quite easily. And I even see like writing in here like a word, and I'm not sure, I can't quite totally make, oh, I'm a dork. My shirt says nope, and what's being reflected back is my shirt. That is hilarious. Okay, but anyways, I feel like you could see through people's souls and see what is really inverted and what their big desire is, and that could be quite intimidating, but also very intriguing, very alluring. You could be very celestial, very otherworldly, very mystical, and people just want to have an idea of what you stand for and who you are. So that is what I have for you. If you're liking this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. I also have another channel. It's my main channel. It's called PsychicMD, where I have over 700 readings there available for your viewing pleasure, should you like to. So that's what I have. Much, much love to you. And until next time, namaste.